Fall actually might be my favorite season, just as Halloween is my favorite holiday. If it wasn't apparent by the many times I've said that I love horror scary media, or that those two are intertwined. When fall starts, I usually go to my trusty old fall playlist filled with spooky songs, and I go on night walks whenever I can. Along with that, I watch horror movies, read scary stories, and find new and exciting upcoming horror games to sink my fangs into. Mostly indie titles, since AAA has been blowing the bells all over the genre for a while now. So I've decided to round up the best that I've tried out these past few weeks into a concise video. For this first installment, I'll be reviewing not one, not two, but 3 independent horror titles. So let's get to it. This demo is short and very sweet. Phase Zero is the first title by the newly founded Spina Studio. Not the first game they worked on though, since the team is made of seasoned developers who have worked on games you've definitely played or heard about, like Superhot, Dying Light, and Cyberpunk, just to name a few. The game could be described as a modern reimagining of the classics from survival horror's heyday. The demo starts you off in a hospital room, defenseless, back booty naked under a gown and faced with a zombie. Very unsanitary. In this demo you play as Guy, an injured engineer, and one of 2 characters that will be playable once the game properly comes out. Your goal here is to get through what I assume will be the first chapter of the game, the hospital. You have to get out of the Flint Peak Hospital. It's full of zombies, and being around zombies isn't good for you, which, translating into survival horror lingo, means we'll bash some heads in, on top of shooting some stuff off too, and do a few cool puzzles in creepy environments. And best of all, there'll be fixed camera angles, inventory systems, and tank controls, all designed to blend nostalgia for these old systems with more modern quality of life improvements, honoring the shoulders it stands on while also contributing its grain of sand. To add to that statement, I can only say the gunplay is smooth, and the only word I can truly use to describe the game on a mechanical level is smooth, which is a weird word to use considering all these classic games it draws from are pretty clunky to say the least. The atmosphere is definitely there, giving you that bleak, cold winter night feel it's aiming for, while also mixing it with the sanitized, unhuman feeling of the hospital. The soft pads of the music plus the accomplished sound design really ties the whole thing together in a very good way, along with some of the camera angles and some of the really grotesque creatures they've cooked up for this, because like, dear god. And if I have to properly sell someone on this game, I tell them that, at least based on what's on the demo, it's the one that reminds me the most of classic Resident Evil. Resident Evil 2 to be very specific. And that's not demeaning to the game in any way. RE2 is one of my favorite games, period. But between the relentless zombies, the ruined hospital, and the fact that you play as 2 characters who have their own stories, I don't know, but it all kind of screams RE2 to me. And it just makes me more excited to play it, so good job, Spina. You got me marking my calendar whenever you decide to release it. Also, side note, but they got this really nice funding initiative for indie games called Superhot Presents, which is very damn sweet of them to help upstart indies and give them a hand with getting their games through the door. Very based. Is anyone else a fan of Junji Ito here? Does someone else wish Silent Hill F was more horror and less F-ing enemies at every fucking turn? Alright, first of all, same. Second of all, I got just the game for you. Welcome to Dollville. It's a game that I wasn't all aware of until the reels found their way into my feed on Instagram, interrupting my flow of conspiracy theories and jazz tutorials to show me an indie game that, honestly, looked right up my alley. We start the demo off proper, arriving in the titular Doll Town during what I assume is the opening act of the game. Once off the bus, we get an exclusive tour not just the town and its heavy history, but also the titular Doll Master himself from Franjin. This game, out of the 3, has the heaviest and the most storytelling in the demo itself. The first thing we can discern is that this game graphically is unique. It has a very moody and draft tone to everything, relying heavily on having a dense fog with this off-white color, yet also stylizing things in black, such as the skybox, to give it that contrast. I can't really put my finger on it, I don't know much about art, but it works. It gives the entire game a feeling of atemporality that it otherwise wouldn't really have. Does it take place late at night, during the day? You can't really tell, and I really fuck with it. It's really moody. This game lives as a sort of love child of Silent Hill 2 and Junji Ito, to put it in broad terms. You get the knowledge that this town is fucked, that it's brimming with evil, yet you've also got this Japanese everything that us Westerners lose our soy over. This game really takes from a lot of places, but it takes the good shit out of them. But it stands out among the other two titles in this video by, for example, its camera use. Whilst yes, in Inside Spaces you get a fixed camera angle like a true old survival horror, or like in the other two games, in Outside Areas you get a third-person camera look. Just the camera following the character like in modern titles, over the shoulder. This is also the game with the smoothest combat out of the three. You might seem like just a regular Japanese girl, but holy fuck. You can wreck up someone real good if any of these dolls look at you funny. Overall, I really enjoyed this demo. It's a lot of fun and it's not super long either, which is by a belief that after finishing this video, you should look it up on Steam and download it. Do it now. Silent Hill Bros, welcome home. I know the road was long, it was so long, but we finally made it. We got a game that's worthy and different enough, even if it isn't a true Silent Hill game, to compete with that grimy and otherworldly feel of the original Silent Hill. A game that not only honors its elders, but also a game that drips with charm and personality and, above all, style. Welcome, Silent Hill Bros, to SSR Wives. SSR Wives, The Murder of My Winter Crush, is an upcoming retro survival horror like the previous two, but this one mixes it with the charming narrative intrigue of a sound novel, which is just another way of saying visual novel, but that's a long story that I'm not going to get into. And being someone who both loves VNs and horror, this was already my thing just on paper. But after playing through the demo, all I gotta say is absolute cinema. Peak, kino, whatever you want to call it. I love this thing. Let's start simple. This game has tank controls. And while you have the option for safer, more modern tank controls like in Phase Zero, this game really discourages them and it's not built with them in mind. They're there, but that's only if you're a pussy. Yet at the same time, it's very smooth and takes full capability of the fact that games right now are way easier to develop and you can fix so many things that you couldn't back then. This entire demo takes place inside of this abandoned building. Your task is to get out of here. There are a few enemies to fight, a few puzzles to solve, and even a few save spots to save in. And on top of all, atmosphere. This game is rough and cold. It's rusted. It's the darkest game out of the three, some areas being almost pitch black. I really just don't run out of words to talk about it because the demo really shows off the first set piece. I really just do think it's a must-buy. Play the demo, give it a try. That's what I really just have to say about any of the games that I've talked about today. But with that said, my time is up. Happy Halloween, hope it's spooky, I've been Roth, and I'll see you guys down the road.